Just a quick note, YouTube and the government are screwing with me, and there's going to be some channel changes as well. If you're interested in this, there is a video in the description and a pinned comment. If you've already watched it or not interested, that's perfectly acceptable. And we'll head on to the story. Human Armies, written by ShaadowOfAPerson. The Glory did not declare war. To declare war would have been human. To declare war would have been fair. Instead, they simply descended on the unguarded human colony city. Sudden, silent, brutal. 5 million dead by dawn. Slaves chained, the city in flames. By dusk, they marched towards the next. Perhaps, had they done things differently, had they been kinder, it would have gone better. Private Zoror collapsed into his bunk, rifle still warm. The first city had been dust by midday. The second would fall faster. The clock was running down on the human deployment, but it would be slow. With every other conquered race, it always had been. The peaceful races were slow to rally. Armies scattered. Fools, he thought. What is a colony without a garrison? The Glory home planet did not have bees. It had similar enough things, small flying animals, but none that swarmed like bees, none that formed hives. This was mostly irrelevant, but perhaps it might have helped if Zoror had seen a bee. Probably not. The first one skidded into the camp at moonrise, fist-sized, six-jointed, a crude iron shell stamped from the poorest metal. It clanked like a broken clock. Zoror crushed it beneath the heel of his boot, grinning as it popped with a flash of lithium-green flame. "Toys!" he barked to his lieutenant. Then the horizon began to buzz. The sound started deep in Zoror's skull, subsonic, throbbing, chewing at the edges. He stumbled out of the tent as the searchlights at the camp's edge flickered, then went dark. Then the stars began to vanish, one by one, and the cloud of crudely hewn iron was overhead. A tide of black metal shells, pockmarked with crude welds. No eyes, no claws, just a faint glint of torchlight reflected in lenses. "Open fire!" Zoror's rifle spat rounds. A drone dropped, then another. Reload, fire, reload. He'd killed 6. 6! The swarm did not then. The swarm did not care. This was not a fight of skill or valor. This was a fight of arithmetic. A drone latched onto his rifle. For a second, they stared at each other, him panting. It's faceless. Then the ship charged at the center of the device detonated, spearing a jet of hot copper through the gun's firing chamber. He tossed it to the ground, drew his pistol. 5 shots. Then the drone melted into slag. He stumbled back, looking for something, anything, to fight back with. A Garak PT-3A main battle tank, treads torn to shreds, fired a shell into the swarm, vaporizing a dozen drones. Then 100 rammed themselves down its barrel, thermite charges welding it shut. The crew fled unharmed, until the commander reached for the sidearm. An explosion peeled his fingers back to the knuckles. "Fall back!" roared the Grand Admiral. A drone clamped onto his shoulder. He swatted at it, then screamed. A crackle of magnesium and a ball bearing deprived him of his shoulder, an ear, of half a face. Nowhere to fall back. A truck, somehow spared as yet, tried to ram its way free. The drones were more a wall than a cloud now. It skidded as its tires burst. Then the drones swarmed the cabin. More thumps, then screams. Command staff forever left with injuries that would not kill, would not heal. The Glory had broken the Geneva Conventions before they'd ever known their protection. They spared those who knelt. A lieutenant who had found, somewhere, a white flag and waved it desperately. Zoror himself, he had realized the drones were herding them back towards their tents which now had ever so many buzzing eyes. He let them. None of them slept that night. It was pockmarked with explosions as drones searched the camp for guns, for knives, for particularly heavy sticks. They welded them all into a pile of slag in the center of the camp. That morning, a human entered a carcass picked clean. She wore no armor. A simple, tidy black military uniform and a light backpack. Drones splitting in and out of every few seconds. A small drone hovered in from her face, translating her words into crude glory. You killed 5 million of ours, we'll kill 50 of yours. Your emperor, his generals, his brood. The drone projected a hologram, their emperor fleeing through the dead forest. A drone latched onto his right leg, severed it in a flash of white. Another took his right arm. He crawled, and they let him. Hours later, they took an eye, then an ear. Your royalty begs for death, said the human, but you'll live. You'll rebuild our cities. You'll wear our clothes, teach our hymns to your children, vote in our elections. A drone finally latched onto the emperor's forehead and sent the stream of molten copper straight through his brain. You will live. You might thank us one day, but you will no longer be glory. You will not be slavers, or murderers, or warriors. You'll be human. Zoror swallowed. Or... All it took was a slight increase in the pitch of the drones in the camp to convince him of the futility of that. End of story. Story number 2. The Truth About Pack Bonding, written by Useful Gap 2152. Every member of the Galactic Federation knows that you have to carefully watch your humans because they'll pack bond with nearly anything. Many find this problem to be rather amusing despite the incidents caused by this tendency. Some consider this to be humanity's greatest strength or greatest liability, but it wasn't until Tara 7 that we realized the true extent of this issue. Tara 7 was a colony set up by the Taran people on the edge of humanity's controlled territory. They were both newcomers to the galactic stage show. No one had realized yet that they were both introduced with the same word, Terrans and Tarans. Through some incredible linguistic fluke, had somehow chosen words for their people that sounded the same. Naturally, the two species started fighting immediately. As the humans were slightly ahead in technology, most expected them to be the only Terrans in a few years. Unexpectedly, while the war seemed intense at first, it quickly became strangely civilized. Little to no casualties despite territory changing hands frequently. The two species even conducted trade while shooting at each other. The rest of the species in the galaxy were a mixture of relieved, confused, and excited. Was there some other factor involved making them hold back? The war continued for over 100 years. Terra 7 was never razed, cracked, glossed, or even seriously damaged. Neither species took slaves nor carried out exterminations. Their soldiers could walk by each other on Federation stations, and a fight only broke out for 50% at a time instead of every time. Then the Verks struck Tara 9, a colony on the opposite edge of humanity. The Verks had decided the Terra were too weak to defeat the humans, and that the humans didn't have the technology to harvest the Terrans' resources properly. After the attack, the planet was being stripped bare of resources. The survivors shipped out as slaves. The start of a brutal campaign designed to maximize the profit Verks gained from all areas of Terra space. When a massive human fleet gathered and pushed into Terra space, it was obvious the humans were out to win their war before the Verks could claim everything first. So, when the human fleet ignored Terra worlds, we were confused. When they bypassed stations, fleets, scout vessels, and even pirates, no shots were fired, until they reached the first Verks world and cracked it in half. The galaxy was finally able to bear witness to the true military might of the human war fleet that was expected a century before. We were able to finally witness their tactics and study their capabilities, and we were horrified. They took no slaves because they took no prisoners. They would not harvest planets because they would shatter them. They fought not for profit or glory. They fought to destroy. After 6 worlds and untold dead, the Federation stepped in. The Verks cried for retribution, telling all who would listen of the humans and their horrible, unprovoked attack. When the humans explained themselves, every ship captain started swearing. Humans pack bond with damn near everything given time. We all knew that. So, of course, the humans said, "They attacked the Terrans. Those are our guys. Sure, we fight all the time, usually hate each other, but they're still our people. They may be our enemy, but they are our enemy. Not gonna let someone else get away with doing that crap to them. It turns out the humans will even pact bond with their enemies. So the next time a human on your crew starts speaking to their tools or adopts a randomly, possibly sentient creature, keep in mind that it could always be worse. The Terran and Terran war was been ongoing for 513 years as of last week. End of story. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Vidmori, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.